happening? What's happening? What's happening? I know y'all see me out there. I know y'all see me out there. Where y'all at? Warmaline dances at Warmaline dances that I can't see y'all. I can't see y'all coming through. Come on, y'all. Slide to the left. Woo. Slide to the right. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I got my little microphone here. My mic. Check one, check two, check two. That's right. I got me one of these real bootleg microphones up in here.
You can hear
Yeah,
me.
we are ready. We are ready. We are ready.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you nice, loud and clear. We just gotta so what's going on as we let the little audience build here? What's happening on the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful southern California? What's happening over there?
Sunny California. So that's all I can say. Beautiful
That's
day.
awesome. You know, we finally got some sunshine here in Cleveland, so us don't know how to act, you know what I'm saying? So we're like, we got our little t-shirts on about helping to change the narrative here, you know what I'm saying? We also got some, I know some of y'all wonder what other kind of t-shirts you got. Don't worry, we got y'all faded right, oh, there it goes right here.
God, that is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's how it's going down. So we got these good t-shirts that's going to be ready for you guys. That's right. That's how it's going down tonight. We got some wonderful, wonderful, good information to share. This one is pretty good. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. It's all about this thing called porosity.
And then we covered that last week. But
So
we think we need to hit it again.
I think something tells me that we're gonna have to go through it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So as we wait for the little chat to build here, some people coming through, I have a very untimely. I know some of you guys may recall my aunt Mary is always in the chat, always in the live, just always my number one, my everything. Yesterday, she decided it's time to go home to be with the Lord.
Yes.
And so she had a very peaceful transition, and I am going to miss her so very much. I was terribly devastated. And so we're going to keep this situation going here because she really believed in the work that you and I are doing. And so this one is dedicated to my aunt. She also told me, make sure you shut up and let Cheryl explain it because you talk too much. What's up, Foster? What's up? What's up? It's good to see you in the chat. Yeah, my aunt said you was talking over Cheryl. Just shut up and let her talk because she know more than you. I was like, ma'am.
Oh my goodness.
You know when the elders talk, you supposed to, you know, where I come from, you had to say, ma'am. You know, you did no sassing elders, not in my neck of the woods. You just I know some people say they don't like ma'am because it
let me just say this. I have gotten in first class so many times by saying ma'am and just being nice.
Yeah.
It is so refreshing. I think I was in C's candy store, and I said ma'am about 3 times, and an older white woman looked at me and said, where did you come from? I said, nowhere. She says, people don't talk like that anymore. And
Yeah.
white woman looked at me and said,
yeah, well, we definitely have to do that, you know.
Yeah,
So
I got
my
some
aunt said, my aunt said I gotta make sure I let you get it in. So Auntie, I'm going to miss you, but I'm still gonna listen to you. And I just really, really wish you could be here with us. Thank you so much, Miss Foster, for the condolences. I appreciate you very much. We have a wonderful, wonderful platform today that we're going to be discussing with you all. Now, as Cheryl said, some of this, you know, we started it last week. We got the drum roll going about some of the dumbest hit that people say about black hair, and we had a good drum roll where we talked about dirt make your hair grow. That was a good one. We definitely had that our hair is difficult to manage. You know, like Okay. We had a difficult, and of course, we had the famous hair typing, Ladosha. What do you think? Am I a four? What do you think, Miss Foster? 4A, 2C, 3C, or not 2C? What do you think? So we talked about hair typing. Can you type art? Can you type hair? We talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was definitely a good one. We also talked about if you cut your hair, when you cut it, it just makes it grow. When you cut your hair, it makes it, grow. So you think 3C, 4C. Oh, okay, she said. You said 3C, maybe 4. Okay. Hey, the thing about this platform. So to those of you who are new, my name is Adosha Wright, and where's she at? There she is. No, wrong finger. Okay, there she is. This is my unapologetically brilliant co-host, the one and only Cheryl Morrow. And so our goal is to use this platform to really debunk a lot of myths about Afro hair. And of course, we want you guys to get in on the discussion, and perhaps maybe you guys have some questions too. So we definitely want to avail ourselves, our expertise, to answer any questions that you may have about your hair, your loved one's hair. Also, if we don't know, we know where to get the answers too. So we're not about to pretend like, we the gurus. We are not the gurus, okay? We the home girls, and we got you guys, covered here when it comes to the topic of, just what they don't tell you at the hair salon, and things that are just circulating that is not helping you. And so my background is a cosmetologist, right? And then I'm also a master colorist. I specialize in trichology. So I'm all about hair and scalp disorders. So if you come to me, I will do that. But I don't do weaves, I don't do shortcuts, I don't do finger waves. Basically, I can't do hair, but I'll take really good care of it, okay? Cheryl, tell them, we got some, hello, what's going on? The chat's starting to come through. So Cheryl, tell me a little bit about who you are.
Well, born and raised in Black hair care. Came up under some of the great stylists. I am a cosmetologist. I'm one of you. You are my tribe. But in about 2005, I decided to write Beauty and Myth, only because I needed to correct at least my clients and to be able to have a conversation with them based on science and chemistry, not folklore and things that we make up and things that we study. And that in 2005, the YouTube University had not really gotten to where it is today. But I decided to change my career as a hairstylist. I did hair in my apartment in Harlem. Some may not know I spent 19 years in Harlem, New York City, all 19 years in Harlem. And at that time, I traveled, with the museum, 400 Years Without a Comb, and started teaching, history, Black hair history. But then I wanted to do something more and going more in depth because I love, medical knowledge and science and chemistry and biology and dermatology and stuff like that. And so I decided to create a discipline called cosmetic trichology, which is a little different. It allows cosmetologists to use their skills in trichology and not just trichology as a separate study and practice. And so, in most hair loss conditions and disorders, did stem from chemical usage and things
Mm-hmm.
of that nature. So I thought that dermatology fell short, in my opinion. Um,
Really?
and so, I always kept a relationship with an endocrinologist, not dermatology. I thought that discipline was a lot more appropriate. So, as that began to flourish, my book began to flourish. And so I decided that if my dad could be the world's expert, so could I. And
All right.
the rest is history.
All right, so there we have it. What's going on, Teddy? We appreciate you. Miss Foster said Willie was the bomb. Okay, so someone in the chat, like they know who your dad is. They're like, okay, he was. Yeah, let me tell you right now. He definitely was the bomb. And also, in case you guys don't know that I'm also in the process, Cheryl and I, we're working on a documentary. So I just kind of dragged her into it a little bit. And so I'm telling you guys, we are really, really, really doing our best to make sure that we tell the truth about the history, of Afro hair. And then, you guys again can help us use that hashtag called help change narrative. That's what we're trying to do here, is to really help change the narrative, because there's so much misinformation out here. So what I want to do, I'm gonna go ahead and get the discussion going. Now y'all know me. Remember, Cheryl is the nice one. I'm the ghetto fabulous. You ready, Cheryl? You ready? Miss Foster, Teddy, y'all ready? So I got some cheers here, right? So the topic today is all about this thing called the porosity, where your hair is like super duper porous, right? Let me tilt this down. And I'm gonna do this test, because I'm telling y'all, see, Cheryl don't believe what's happening out here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to tell her that this whole test the porosity on your hair, this stuff is absolutely real. So what I'm going to do, right? I'm gonna do the porosity test.
Okay.
Because see, sure, you don't understand. These are called autodidacts. So and I got some shit right here. Here you go, y'all. Now I got it. I'm gonna cut it. There you go. Well, I got a little. I'm sorry. I know Miss Foster like, girl, bye. So I got a little bit more than, but I got something to spare. So I actually have my glass here. Now, according to YouTube science, if your hair gets wet, and depending on how it sinks or floats, that is going to tell us if it is porous. This is the YouTube porosity test, and I'm gonna turn it over to Cheryl, because this is a great. You like this test, Cheryl? No. So Cheryl is like, this is gonna be. Now this is on YouTube now, not cosmetology school. Come on, Miss Foster. Now you ain't gonna be. Come on now, y'all. Y'all can't be laughing at me. I'm like, y'all know who Big Perm is. Y'all know who Big Perm is, right? So I'm serious about this. So okay, so here we go. Here go my glass, right?
Okay.
And there go my hair, and I'm gonna put it in there. So according to them, I just washed my hair too. So there it is. It's in there, and they said that if the hair sinks, that my hair is not porous, and if it floats or something, that means it's like resistant or something. So my hair is still floating. So what's up with that? What's up with that? Is this a real porosity test? There it is. Y'all see it? It won't go to the bottom. I thought our hair was porous, because they say color treated hair is porous. So it's supposed to sink. Why is my hair not sinking? Because if it's super absorbent, it's going to go to the bottom. So, Cheryl, what's going on? Am I not a human?
You're not a human.
Talk to me as my
well, like we said, this is the dumbest hit that people say about black hair. I don't know. Let me ask you a question. I maybe we can start with this, because one of the reasons why, what if you know your hair porosity, what do you know it for? What does that mean? What does that prove? How are you going to use that information?
Anybody in the chat want? Okay, that's right. Miss Foster said, "I'm right." According to YouTube University, my hair should be sinking. Anybody want to just kind of just drop in the chat?
Right. What when you know your porosity, or if there is a such thing, what does that information do for you?
Well, now, according to YouTube University, if you know, or when you know your hair's porosity, you will figure out. Thank you, Miss Foster. She said you would figure out what kind of product to use, and you would know how much heat to use on your hair if you knew the porosity. So
okay. Well,
So
let's just right. So for
that's what
heat,
they say. I'm with you, Miss Foster. That's what they say now. I've been
well,
perplexed about the porosity test, but
right.
someone came to the salon and told me, and it's still floating, by the way.
So right. So if you okay, so let's just go. Water is the smallest molecule of all liquid, right? So if it won't sink in water, how does that determine what product to use? If the product is heavier than water,
Uh-oh.
what does that mean?
If the product
If
is
all if the product is lotion, it's a form of oil or it's a form of lotion. If it's a
right,
cream,
right,
what does sinking in water have to do with something that's gonna go heavier on your hair? That's number one. Number two, there's no there's no metric system on a label that tells you use this if you have your hair sunk in 5 minutes, or if your hair sunk in 10 minutes, or if it stayed on the surface, use this product. There's no way to know that. There's no
right.
metric system. You can't quantify it. It's not
Well,
it, it
now hold on. Now they're saying if you watch some of the videos, they talk about like if your hair get wet like really quick,
mm-hmm.
then that's what they're saying. That's a metric if it gets wet
Right,
or
right. I
fast.
understand that. But in terms of methods at home or some to do something different or to get a different result, what does that mean in terms of being applicable for the consumer? And because they can't explain that, that just goes to show you that you knowing a so-called porosity level, how does that gain you any methodology to obtain a style one way or another? How do you quantify that? You can't. And that's one of the reasons why when you are discussing porosity with your professional or a cosmetologist or just within yourself and your bed between you and your mirror, what does
Mm-hmm.
that mean in terms of you getting a desired result after a washout or a hairstyle? Now, let's just go to heat. Is there a sign on the flat iron that says if you have low porosity, do from 250 degrees to 300? And if you have medium porosity, use only 350 to 400. And if you have high porosity, what does that mean in terms of it? Because cosmetology means a thing, doing, applying, styling. So if the information does not give you any applicable kind of skill set to determine one way or another to do something to it or to not do something or not much of something or less of something, what does it mean at the end of the day?
Right. Well, I'm thinking that if you have this knowledge now, Ms. Foster dropped in the chat that now we have hair care companies that are actually capitalizing off of this high
Right,
porosity, low porosity, because now they're making products.
right,
So she says, for instance, if you are a low porosity, your cuticles are closed tight, so you need heat to deep condition to open the cuticles to get the conditioner in.
right. But there
So
has
that
to be right, but there has to be an ingredient. If water doesn't open it, if it's still floating on top, what ingredient would be in a product that will swell and open? Because at that point, it won't be natural. And that's why I said last week, you cannot have a porosity level with a natural hair strand. You only have a porosity level after it's been chemically treated or altered. Then the cuticles have been altered in a way. Then you have permeability and then you have porosity. But it must be manipulated to do that. But natural hair is hydrophobic. It is meant to repel water. That's why it's
so
standing on top of the water.
so when you say hydrophobic, I'm just gonna use my hand again,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I put this water, it
Right. Your skin is acidic. It is designed to repel water.
oh, we talked about this last week now. We talked
And
about this
so,
last week.
right.
So so if it dries up, isn't it going? I try to be funny, but is it going into my skin?
No. Your
No.
your
Oh,
epidermis.
our skin can absorb the water. You don't understand. My skin is sucking it in, and it's gonna be moisturized, and it's gonna be, it ain't going in.
No. Let's,
All right.
and let me just say this. I understand that some products you can go to you can put a bunch of, you know, let's say oily kind of substance or lotion. It can be water based or water soluble, or it can be oil. The problem is that it is only happening on a surface level, and then the environment is changing it and making it either thinner because of it's warmer or it's got humidity and things of that nature. But nothing, the pores of the cuticles of hair doesn't have a sucking nature. It's not like a straw, because
Oh,
it's there to repel and to keep things out. It doesn't have a sucking down regulated motion, or mechanics. It just doesn't work like that.
so it's not like a sponge with these little
No,
open
it's
holes.
not. No, cuticles don't act like spores because the keratin is a hydrophobic material.
Mm, they in the chat like, what?
It's
This
not
is
a
what
Hair is not
this
a
is,
water soluble. It is like fingernails. It's like deer antlers, or it's like horns. It's corneous. It's fibrous. Doesn't have a natural. Um, it doesn't work like that. It's not like a cotton fiber of your jeans. Because some cotton fibers, especially Levi's or something does not have permeation. It's woven really tight. The bead of
yeah,
water
the
surface.
Levi blue jeans is hard. They like, you can stand
Right.
them up in the corner.
That's why that's hair. That is what keratin is. Keratin behaves just like that. But what you can do is that now that you have technology, you can create cotton Levi's that feel like silk, but they're treated. Those fibers are treated, and you can do hair the same way. You can treat hair. Doesn't mean that it's not cotton anymore. It doesn't mean that it's not natural cotton anymore. It's just treated to behave and to feel different because of the
Oh,
thread
oh,
count.
oh,
And that's
oh, wait,
where technology
wait,
comes.
wait. All right, we got a good one in the chat. Here we go. Here we go. They coming through. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to put a little annotation on it. Okay, here we go. Okay, for instance, they say, they say if you are low porosity and your cuticles are closed tight, you need heat to deep condition to open the cuticles to get the conditioner in. So we got to sit y'all under a dryer for like 30 minutes. What
Okay.
about
Now,
what about
a dryer with a plastic bag or no plastic bag?
they want you to do a plastic bag, Miss Foster? What they want? No plastic bag, or what you say? What you say? What you say?
A covering
A
of some sort.
covering. She hasn't got to it yet. Okay, let's see.
Well,
All
usually
right.
we'll go with they usually do in the salon. They'll usually put you under some kind of cap, right?
Right.
And their thought process is that if they can cover it, it will create some kind of osmosis, and then it will draw the steam will turn into to real small micro molecules of water, and then it'll go inside of the cuticles of the hair, right?
Right.
That's their thought process.
That's their thought process.
The problem is that if you and I were to go running and we put a plastic bag over our body, we get one of those sweat suits. Is the water going in or out?
Is the water going into our skin or into the actual jogging suit?
No, right. Is the water going in? Is the sweat going in more, or is the sweat coming out?
Oh, it's coming out. If we put that plastic bag on, it's going to come out.
Okay, so how are we deep conditioning anything then?
Oh, you know what? I'm about to get off this. You know what? Facebook.
Logic.
Come on now, y'all. You tripping now. Because now you messing up all my education. So,
Well, let's just say that is why your hair.
That's why we need this, y'all.
Well, that's why the hair is progressively drier. That's why your hair is always drier the next week and the next week. The plastic bag causes what? Precipitation. That means loss of water. Water coming out of the mechanism, not going in. So you can't possibly, it is not physically, scientifically, biologically, and chemically possible to moisturize something with something covered. You want meat to stay wet. What do? You cover it. But the juice in the gravy is never going in the meat. It's staying out. If you want the juices to go in the meat, you have to uncover it.
Dang.
But
they
then
in the chat, they like, come through education. I'm telling y'all, they like, girl, I wish you could, they like, you blowing us back. Hey y'all, help change the narrative, please.
Well, that's the difference. That's the difference between Afro cosmetology and regular cosmetology. It never made sense. And that's why we can't moisturize, and that's why we can't get to the problem solving, because we were never taught science and chemistry. It just doesn't make any sense, because we're just doing stuff in the salon that is diametrically opposed to the result we want. Hydration and dehydration is something you cannot see because it's inside the cortex. So if you are wetting the hair, that is not moisturization. Moisturization is something you can feel. Hydration is something that must be in the cell tissue altogether. So trying to seal it in, all of that is made up.
Wait a minute. Trying to seal it in. You're talking about the lock method where you lotion, oil, and condition. That's that new method that they want you to lock in. Oh my God. She said, please never stop doing these lives. I'm trying to tell y'all, my co-host is unapologetically brilliant. When I first talked to her on the phone, I'm telling y'all, I was like, I was in tears because I was like, what is this narrative? And I was really like kind of cocky. You know what I'm saying, Foster? I was like, that ain't the narrative we was told. And you know, she was like, well, that's because we don't write these things. You know, we don't write this. You know, what you gonna do? And I
let me give you a better example. If you were to cut and cut a strand of hair and put it under the microscope, right, and get a microscopy of the hair strand, it will be akin to a peppermint candy. You can suck it all day long. You crack it open, it's dry inside. It's not wet. It's not designed to be wet. Keratin is a fibrous, like a fiber optic. It's electrical. You can't have water in something that's electrical. Oh. So you're trying to hydrate it like that in terms of wetting it. It just doesn't. It's just not scientifically logical.
Can I just say this? Because we got some stylists and stuff coming through. Okay, we got some hairstylists. You know, in the chat, somebody is like giving you your mad props. Ms. Foster. We appreciate you so very much. A couple of shout outs right quick. We got the root doctor from ATL. What's up? He's in the chat. What's up? That's my little son, Mr. Kareem. You got to go check him out at Fresh from Earth over at College Park. All right, check him out. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful business. We have my homegirl Racine. We got my BFF Rashida. And then we have Dr. Leah Love. We got Miss Foster. And we got Seneferu is up in the chat. So we appreciate y'all so much for joining us because we got some good stuff going. But let me say this about the whole deep conditioner, right? So you know my background initially is not in cosmetology. It came, from me being an outreach worker. And when you go to college, you got to take like a little biology, a little chemistry. You know what I'm saying? And so when I first became a cosmetologist, and I saw this whole, put the plastic bag, go under the dryer. I'm just gonna be honest. I was like, what is y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? And in my salon, I only have 2 dryers. I do not have a salon full of dryers. And that was a red flag for a lot of customers. They would walk in and be like, why you ain't got no dryers in this hair salon? And I'm like, because we don't really need them like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so we have our treatments here. You do not put a cap on. We always, no cap. And the customers are like, no, I gotta put my steam. I gotta do. And I'm like, like we put them under the steamer, so you don't need the conditioner because the steam when it comes to conclave, it's all you don't need to do that. And I'm telling you, we bump heads because it is pseudoism. Mm-hmm. Now the companies, of course, and Mr. Leroy Sharp. So these guys are scholars in the industry. So he teaches us this. And the customers are bumping with us that we have to put the plastic cap on and we got to use a whole clump of it and slather it on there like the hair mayonnaise and the butter and all this. And we're like, you cannot do this to your hair. So to hear you say that the concept of deep conditioning is so backwards, I just want to commend you because there are companies, we do have distributors who are here for us. This is why we ask you guys to watch out on these platforms for people who are not giving you the pure and unadulterated truth about, what happens to hair scientifically. So I appreciate you to talk about that. And I just want to say that my hair is still sitting up top. And I know somebody might, because according to YouTube now, on this porosity test, Dr. Love, I know you're probably laughing at this too. So this porosity test, my hair should have been sinking, but as you can see, there it is on the glass. It still hasn't sank. And according to YouTube University, my color-treated hair should be damaged and fried. And when you put it in here, because it has so much porosity, it should go to the bottom. But there it is again, guys. You can see it. It is still at the top. It's not going anywhere. And this is what Cheryl is talking about when you're talking about this hair can absorb. So, hair, it doesn't do that. Picture that, what was it, a peppermint?
Right. The peppermint in and of itself, you're only dealing with the layer. And one of the reasons why you can prove that is that there is a difference in, let's say, when you relax, or when you create some kind of softening of the hair shaft. Once the new growth grows in, you have one diameter, and then the relaxed hair is another diameter, and that's why you have to straighten it faster, because this is a phenomenon of dissolving the outside, not anything that is dealing with the inner genetic material, cortex. Now, the cortex may deal with, in terms of coloring when you're depositing, that is a whole nother context. But cosmetology in terms of understanding chemistry and science, you have to make sure that you're in context, that you know what you're talking about when you're talking about it, and you can kind of like fix the information to make sure that you're on point of what you're actually talking about. Moisturization is not hydration. Hydration is not something you can feel. Hydration is inside of the material itself, the fiber itself. Wetness in moisturization is something your fingertips can feel, but that is not true hydration. And that is one of the things that, and I tell people all the time, make sure that you can also reference into certain other disciplines. Let's say, I tell people all the time, you're sick and you have a fever, you go to the hospital, what do they do? They hydrate you, but they hydrate you with sodium. They get you with an IV. They don't put water on they don't put water on your skin to hydrate you. They give you an IV so it can go in the inner. Hydration is inner. Dehydration is inner. It's a problem of inner. And when you're deep conditioning, and let me just say this, Mr. Sharp, I know he didn't tell. I don't know about no plastic bag with Mr. Sharp, because Mr. Sharp came through with the reformation that Dr. Morrow made for him, and Mr. Morrow told him, never put a plastic bag on a head of hair if you want to condition, because you want to change the pH. The only way you can condition anything is to make the pH have homeostasis. There is no other conditioning going on. There is no other. You can only be better at the pH level. You can't adjust the pH level of skin or rash. Bad pH, you put something on it, adjust the pH, the rash goes away. It's a pH. Period.
pH problem. pH problem. pH. Hey, they in the chat like, this is deep. How deep? Deeper than Atlantis. You see, this is what I'm saying, guys. We need you guys to share the content. If you can, take a few moments out. We got a little bit more time here to share the show, because the content is really good, and the information is for the people who are truly seeking the knowledge to aid them at home, professionally. Don't forget, if you have any questions, all right, they jumped into it. We got Dr. Leah Love is in the chat, and she says, how do you bring it to homeostasis?
Well, let's give an example. We have to find out where is disorder. Let's just say you had dandruff. One of the things in cosmetic trichology that I teach cosmetologists is that dandruff has a pH. Skin has a pH. But if the pH is slightly alkaline, and I'm not talking about taking a pH test and putting the strip in water and all that craziness. What I am saying is that there is a natural color to dandruff. Sometimes it's dander. Dander is dusty. Dandruff is flaky. A skin disorder will have larger flakes, and you can see the little holes inside of the flakes of the skin. But when you are dealing with pH, is it dandruff, or is it actual skin? Then at that point, usually the skin is telling you that either it has, had come in contact with a substance, a chemical, water, your sweat, anything can take the pH off. And you usually want to take the pH so drastically that the skin begins to heal itself. Because one thing that dandruff is very hard to, and I'm just using that as an example, hard to treat is because it's a pH problem, and you want to be able to cleanse that particular skin. And the first thing you should never do is to put water on dandruff. It is just better to get a light kind of fruit-based shampoo, and to put it on natural, no water, and let it sit there for 5, and then the skin will adjust itself. Now, there are some certain ingredients that must be in that shampoo, right. But since we're not talking about that, I'm not going to go through that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes water could be too heavy in metals will irritate the skin. But your job as a professional and a consumer is to make sure that the skin is slightly below 7 if you want to have a very comfortable, and then the skin will return back to normal, which is a vanilla color. It will not have an odor. It will not be uncomfortable, and it will not have inflammation, and then it will not.
And let
Right.
me just say this on that note, and then Leah, we're going to go back to the homeostasis. Let me just say this too, guys. Even though we guys, what's up, Queen Cheetah? I see you in the chat, and so definitely we're going to get to you next. I know, we guys are here for you all, but just based off of that example about dandruff, or dander, whatever, this is why we tell you guys, do not allow these people to play doctor over your head. We are not licensed to, we can prognose, like I guess, I think, and then tell you to go to the doctor. But like she said, messing around, people be bringing in like these dandruff shampoos. Hey, the first thing I want to know is, did your doctor tell you to use it, or did your grandma? Or are you guessing? Because we can't, though, like she said, there are certain types of ingredients for certain types of scalp disorders and situations. So don't play around with that stuff, guys. You have to be really, really careful. So the homeostasis question for Leah, how do you get that for the hair?
And let me just be clear. When I say homeostasis, I'm talking about a skin's natural propensity to adjust itself in the wound healing process. This is not you look at a meter and you say, oh, hair is supposed to be this, or a scalp is supposed to be this. And hair doesn't have a pH. Skin does. Your scalp does, not your hair. Okay, so that's just want to correct that. So my goal is to be able to allow, at least, let's just say, in my regimen, I've never had dandruff. I don't even know what that it looks like. Why? Because I understand that the skin will have what we call a wound healing preference. It already has a preference. It will go into wound healing. However, let's just say if you were to go in and scratch and scratch and scratch and massage your scalp, when you bring too much circulation to the surface of the skin, sometimes your immune system will say, oops, injury. And then it'll go to that section, it'll become red, then it will become a little warm because it thinks it's injured. So at that point, just because you only decided to scratch your dandruff up, but the body will say injury because it has too much stimulation or circulation in that particular place.
Can I interject? And this is why we say, I see these videos and they take the comb. Did y'all see them on TikTok? And they just be digging and they be pushing it up. And I'm like, no. You guys have got to understand, the human body wants to survive. It's always in this state of trying to get it back. And when we're doing things like taking the comb and digging it up and lifting it and taking those scalp scrubby things and digging, it's the research. And I'm not making this up. We got Kofi in the chat. What's going on? I'm not making this up. What's up, Miss Paulette? There is actual research on using those scalp scrubbers. I'm not talking about YouTube research. I'm talking about paper research,
right,
on those scalp scrubbers. And I'm telling you guys, the research, if you just read the research, you would put it down. A lot of people who are making these things, I think, Foster, you put it in the chat, these people just want y'all money. And we understand you got some issues. We got a question about hair growth. We got a question about, bad dandruff and so on and so forth. But what you guys have to be careful is that these people want your money, and for Black people, because they know that we don't have a clear understanding about our hair. We think it's bad. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're going to go to extreme. We're going to spend all the money. They're going to push that type of ignorance to us. And what Cheryl and I are saying, this dumb hit has got to stop.
Yeah.
If you sit between somebody's legs, and you sit up on the porch or the salon chair, and you letting them take that comb and you digging into the scalp, I promise you, just like Cheryl said,
Yeah.
you're going to make matters worse. Because it is the skin. You see, I got a cut. I'm glad you mentioned that. My aunt passed away and I got nervous and I started digging. And you can see how my body is going into the state to repair this naturally. I ain't even put no Neosporin. This is some lotion on there, you know? So, I mean, some oil. And the body is doing this naturally. So can you imagine if you was doing that to your scalp with a comb and you got, oh, that feels so good. You have to be very, 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 very careful. So Leah, I hope that answers your question about homeostasis, that hair, it doesn't have a pH. We do take training. Again, big shout out to Deca Plus. They do teach us that, guys. People who don't get any education, they want to watch this YouTube channel and microwave it. You're not getting it. You're going to have to go to school. Don't use this chat to go back and start talking to your clients, talking to your kids. You know what I'm saying? Go to school, y'all, and get some education. All right. So the question is, they want to know about hair loss. Is there a remedy for people, and particularly this is from a guy, and so for men with hair loss?
Well, that's a huge question. When my male patients would come to me, diagnosis is very important. But I will tell just a short story. I had a male model that lived below me in New York, and I noticed that he was going into his next season and he was pumping it up in the gym, boy. He was pumping and pumping and pumping. And I told him, I said, I think you need to slow down on whatever you're doing because you're doing something different because your hair is thinner. And one thing that most people don't realize is that the feminine hormone called estrogen is what keeps hair on your head. The testosterone doesn't keep hair on your head. And when those hormones get imbalanced, you can take supplements. And when I would do pathology on the deceased for the New York State the coroner service, there would be some individuals and victims that appearance just changed over the matter of months, and they called me in to deal with issues. But one of the things that can remain to be true, a body will change, and according to the toxology report, usually the hair changes, and it's chemical. So as far as a man, if he is not dealing with the hereditary issues, then it is definitely supplemental and it's hormonal. And so, and I know people call it DHT,
Mm-hmm.
but when the testosterone levels go up and the cells eat each other, and
Right.
so, or they attack each other. But what I will say, it just takes a good diagnosis, my brother. There's no one hitter quitter, but I will say that minoxidil or steroidal um,
Topical treatments.
medicines, they do not grow back a fatty natural hair that you're used to. It will not grow back quite the same way. It'll probably be more stubble. It'll be more, it would be a hair that, because you really want to deal with what is causing the scalp to evacuate the hair premature. That's the issue, not the hair itself. It is a scalp issue. It is not a hair issue, if that
And
makes
this
sense.
is right, and this is another reason. I don't know if yeah, he's still in the chat. So we got Kareem Hafiz is in the chat, and again, he has Fresh from Earth Vitamin and Herb store in Atlanta and College Park, two stores that is. And this is what he talks about when he says the scalp, hair is the flower of the scalp. Scalp care is priority one. It is priority one. And I'm so glad people are in the chat and they are giving you lots and lots of compliments. And I'm telling you guys, Kofi is my mentor. He's like my little big brother, if you will. And they, on their platform, they debunk the pseudoism about African history. So Kofi, this one is for you and my Aunt Mary, because this whole truth telling is inspired by the Masi Warrior Clan. So make sure you check out their channel. Kofi, if you could drop, your Kofi Pi Sci team in the chat, also your books and everything. This whole process of truth telling, it's very user friendly. And this, again, I can't say it enough. This is what Cheryl and we are here for you guys, to at least to get you guys to think about it. Some people, are like, whatever, and we understand that. But we also want you to know that there's levels to the knowledge. And like she just said, this is an introduction. This is just the opening. They say, give you guys something to munch on, because you're being duped, you're being fooled, and you're being played like a piano with some of these people over here saying this stuff. And like I said, I've been guilty. I have been guilty. But this is why we are having this discussion. So no more professionals, no more licensed professionals, barbers, whatever, braiders, cosmetologists. We're not regurgitating some of this stuff behind the chair, because we can hurt people a lot about that. And so another question that's in the chat is about those instant grade cover. How you want the men want to cover their hair, and they got the 5-minute gray stuff. Is that safe? Those the 5-minute gray, men covering their gray hair.
And those are
marketed. The wash that gray right out of your hair, that kind of stuff.
Oh, well, just for men?
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to propose is that why would that be marketed to men, and then there's a section for women over in the next aisle? Why do you think that they, for some reason, genderize hair color? There's a simple reason for it.
I can't imagine why they would genderize. I've never even heard that statement before. Anybody in the chat ever heard of genderizing? They said, everybody's in the chat, like, good question. Thank you, Foster. Thank you.
Right. The reason why they do that is, one, they're assuming that men's hair is thicker. So they're assuming that men's hair is thicker. But then that would make sense, because women 9 times out of 10 have more hair. So, so why wouldn't you not make it 5 minutes, 10 minutes for women? Women don't have as much time as men. They have the families, children, got to go do this, do that. Why are men having the luxury of just 5 minutes? And we have 30, 40 hour, give or take.
Maybe because it's a male-dominated society, and women, we're frou-frou frilly, and men are more important. They got to go out and get that. They paper chasing. Is that it?
Well, it makes you wonder, because how could the color determine what sex you are? It makes no sense. I'm saying that to say all of my cover gray clients that were female, I use just for men.
Woo! Bloop, bloop. Sit down, bro. How you like that? You good, bro? Ladies out here, you good.
And if we can get it, as cosmetologists, if we can get time-conducive chemical exposure down to 5 minutes, wouldn't you most likely choose that?
I would. I'm a hairstylist. We have a company that has a 10-minute color, but the customers don't like it. They want to sit for 45 minutes. We like, boo, you got to be like R. Kelly. I don't know where you're going, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We ain't with that. And this here, our customers, to be honest, they not into all of that time. And I just feel like with all the technology out here, if you're going to a hair salon or a spa and you're spending like 30 minutes under the hair dryer, get out! I just heard there's a movie called Get Out. I never heard of it before.
But, and guess what? And they also tell you to put the plastic bag on the color, so it slows it down even more.
I'm like, listen, it's no. What that girl said. If y'all notice in all of our promos for the dumbest hit, that people say, ain't nobody got time for that. That's why nobody has time for this. We going brown, we going sweet brown on them. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's 2022. There are no more 30-minute deep conditioning treatments, guys. End it. Do what? Let me move my thing down. Help change the narrative. I want you guys to be, if you are posting, if you are a fellow YouTuber, if you are a fellow licensed cosmetologist, and you're doing things out of the box that's for the benefit of the industry and people, make sure you use the hashtag help change the narrative, because we can't keep letting people, take misinformation and then sell it, back to us. All right. So we had another. So Kofi Pie TV says, will food allergies cause super dry scalp?
Food allergies cause super dry scalp.
He wants to know if he has food allergies. And I'm not saying you saying that per se, Kofi, but just the question is, will food allergies cause super dry scalp?
I have a better question. If you stay away from those particular foods, right? And if you have those allergies, and those allergies cause some kind of anaphylaxis reaction, right? You're actually staying away from the foods. Well, I think what you're saying is what is causing the food allergy. Is it also causing your scalp issue? Is that what your question is?
So, Kofi, that's the question. Are your food allergies also causing the scalp condition? Is that what you just said, Cheryl?
No, what I'm saying is that whatever is causing the food allergy, could it also be an indication that it is surfacing on the scalp as well, causing the scalp to be out of balance as well? Because your food allergy is an inflammation issue. And your immune system has an auto reaction to the histamine or that foreign thing that is causing the food allergy. So it's actually backwards. So when your body starts to have ailments like excessive dandruff or skin shedding, that is also an indication of the cause of what is causing the imbalance in order to have the food allergy. Not the
So are you saying people don't? He said yes, by the way. So food don't cause the allergy. Something causes you to be allergic to the food. Is that what you're saying?
Right. You have a you have
I'm sorry, y'all. Miss Foster. Come on. Listen, y'all. I'm blue back.
You have a fault. And it is causing you to have a food allergy.
Repeat that. I'm a little bit too loud. I'm sorry. Repeat that again. I'm sorry.
Right. Whatever cataclysmic event that has happened in your body that is also making you have a food allergy. The allergy and the scalp issue are parallel. They're the same thing. They're symptoms. It's not one causing the other, is what I'm saying. So whatever your immune system chooses to let you know that it don't like something, if there is a foreign matter or there is an event that was caused, your food allergy and your symptom of scalp issue, skin issue, your eyes, or whatever it comes out on, it manifests through, they're the same thing, is what I'm saying to you. And so, as a cosmetologist, I only am using the scalp issue because I can see the scalp issue. I can't see your food allergy. I would
Hmm.
probably, if I, me and you didn't have a, let's say if he was in my chair and I didn't
Right.
know he had food allergies, I would know that there 2 weeks ago he didn't have, this scalp issue, but now he does. Then I
Right.
would have in my consultation, we would go and then he would say, "Oh, I have food allergies." And I would say, "Well, what did you take? Did you take a steroid, or did you take, a Benadryl, or did you take some kind of medicine to offset the autoimmune effect?" But that also, whatever that food allergy, whatever's causing the food allergy, is also causing the scalp issues. What I'm saying, not that the food allergy is causing um, the scalp issue. It is something that's causing both of them. I guess that's what I'm saying.
All right, Kofi, you got us on fire. He said, "This is what I was told why he have dry scalp really bad." He was told the reason why he has dry scalp is because whatever he's eating is causing his scalp to become that.
Well,
Or,
I'm well. How do you keep your skin moist?
so Kofi, type in the chat. What do you do to keep your scalp, from being dry? Because you said you have dry scalp. Really, really, he put like really, really, really bad. So just take your time and type out. So while Kofi is typing that up, he's answering the question, how he keeps his scalp moist. All right. So in the meantime, I'm just going to give some super duper shout outs in the chat. Again, we appreciate y'all. So again, super duper shout out over here. We got Tammy Field Pop. Whoop, whoop. We got my homegirl, Dr. Leah Love, who also wants to know when is your class. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We got Colette Barnes in the chat. So we appreciate y'all again. My homeboy, the Root Doctor, is also in the chat. And then we're still waiting on Kofi to get that answer in there. And then also we got Keenan Wright. What's up, Wright? When you can't go wrong, all right, move your time and give it to you. Miss Foster, you're still with us. Queen Cheetah, Nephero. So all my good people, we appreciate you guys so very much for joining us in the live again. We're talking about the dumbest hit that people say about black hair. So his answer is he have locks now. So he used lock oil and tea treatment oil he's trying to, lock his hair. So this is what he's doing now.
Well, I would immediately stop using any oil, any oil, any oil. And the reason why oil is not good for
He
two
said
things.
rose water, I'm sorry, and rose water.
Right.
So he's got oil, he's got lock oil, tea treatment oil, and rose water.
And I will say this, I don't know how long his locks are, and I don't know how long he's kept them, but you're going to keep your scalp issue as long as you keep that hair on your head. Because what is on the scalp is now in the hair and it's festering. And then you put oil on top of it, and oil is a barrier. It doesn't let moisture in and it doesn't let moisture out. So whatever you want to get rid of, guess what? If you were my patient, we'd be doing the scissors, because you want scalp health more than hair. And obviously now, if you were in my city, I'd get rid of it, but you would have to make some changes, especially because the skin is trying to get into wound healing, but you have so much product on it. A wet surface cannot heal. And I repeat that, a wet surface cannot heal. It must be dry. Then the body will secrete a yellowish substance. Once air hits it, it becomes a scab. That scab then oxidizes one more time and turns dark. And that underneath that scab is the whole body's immune system putting the cell tissue together so it can get rid of your problem, and then it'll drop off naturally. But if you keep hindering the process by keeping the surface wet. And oil is naturally thermogenic. Oils just naturally bring heat to a surface. So then you're making it hot, and then you're making it greasy, and then you're keeping it wet, and then it can never get into wound healing. And then that's the bad pH because of all those wet surfaces. It can't heal. But it's trying because it's getting rid of it's trying to shed, but you need to just employ some different methods, and it'll heal itself. The body it is regenerative in that way. So a couple of weeks you can get rid of it.
Okay, a couple of weeks. So if he really didn't want to cut his hair off, does he have an alternative? Because I know, yeah, because he don't, right. I got you, Kofi, because Kofi really wants those locks. He wants to go on the lock. And then, before you answer that, I just want to go, I have to tell you guys this. My whole entire career, well, half of it, in 2011, I single-handedly approached a politician about changing the law that natural hair designers must have education. The Department of Justice was kicking the butts going across the nation, winning law cases after law cases that these natural hair, these locticians, they don't need education. I hope you guys now understand that people who do these things without education, they ain't bad people. I'm not going to say that, but danger, warning, Will Smith. Make sure that your loctician, your natural hairstylist, whatever you want to, however they, are describing themselves, please make sure they have education, guys, because I'm looking at this right here. You can Google this, and it's called lock method. Now, I hear about this stuff through the clients, and Cheryl, now we try to be on here, but we need you guys to get on this platform and bring all these issues. Thank you so much, Kofi, Foster. Y'all keep bringing these issues in the chat because we can get some of this stuff out here. Cheryl, this is an expert. This is what she does. And let me know if you heard of this. The lock method is a moisturization layering technique that consists of applying liquid to hydrate the hair, that's the L, oil to lock in the moisture, and C is the cream to prevent moisture loss. And what you guys have just learned, this is a sure shot way, a one ticket. You can go, it's the Heartbreak Hotel. You get in, but you can't come out. Please, y'all, please help change the narrative.
Right.
Y'all stop that. Don't repost that kind of stuff. Be careful, be careful, be careful. So Kofi, she's now going to give you the answer to an alternative to having to cut this off. Now, mind you, keep in mind, she hasn't done a consultation. She doesn't know your hair scalp. So we're going to practice what we preach. This is a generalization on the answer. Okay, Kofi?
Well, first of all, I already knew his hair. He had a lot of hair on his head, because that symptom that he mentioned it is not indicative of someone who wears a low haircut. But what I will say, to bring your forehead behind your ears, hopefully between every stitch from your lower neck all the way to your forehead, and be able to get a shampoo. Also, I hope you do not allow your locks to air dry, because that is probably, and then if you apply oil to it, it probably is exacerbating the issue. So what I would do, if you were here in my chair, or is he in your chair, LaDosha?
No, but Kofi, he that dude. Kofi, don't you get on that airplane. Hold up, Kofi. Kofi, he wanted the ticket right now. Oh, and by the way,
I would do a custom blend. with some citrus and everything, so the citrus could eat all of the fungus that is keeping his dandruff prevalent. At that point, no water, none, no oil, no water. Allow your scalp to heal. Now, will it look? Get a water soluble oil. I had, I can create that too, but no oil. And then once you can also, make sure that your scalp gets a lot of air. And then after that, a couple of weeks, it'll be gone. But you can't keep exposing your hair to oil and water and keeping it moist and sweating and rubbing it and all that kind of craziness. So soap cap it 5 to 10 minutes every 3 days until it's gone. No oil and no water. No oil and no water. You cannot put water on your hair. The only thing that you should do with water is to rinse the shampoo out. And I'm not talking about over the counter shampoo. I'm talking about a custom blend. And me and LaDosha can get that together.
All right, you got that, Kofi? This is how it's going down. This is how it's going down, guys. We're talking about the dumb hit that people say about black hair. You guys are really, really, y'all in it. Miss Foster made a good point. She said no heat, letting the hair dry. The Rev Air is a wonderful alternative, and we'll talk about that, Kofi, to get you into the Rev Air, so you're not,
Actually, heat would be good for him. Actually,
yeah.
Some heat would be actually after you clean the surface and really, really good.
All
Make
right.
sure you dry it manually so you can get it nice and dry. Do not walk around with it damp. Don't do that.
Right. And then Kofi will introduce the Rev Air to you, and then we'll get that blend to you ASAP and send you an invoice. I'll do that if you show me how to rock my StreamYard platform, because I could have probably put some stuff in the link. I need you to show me how to do that, Kofi. So we'll do a FaceTime chat to make these lives a little bit more interesting. I would have liked to bring in the definition of the lock, but I'm not quite sure. I'm just getting used to how to work the StreamYard, which, by the way, Kofi is the reason why, again, I'm here. So big ups to Kofi. So again, we're a little bit over the time. So we appreciate you guys so very much. I think you guys, we held you guys' attention. Nobody fell off. Y'all actually stayed on with us. So I take it, Cheryl, you truly are unapologetically brilliant. And so Ms. Foster is in the chat, and she says, can we please, pretty please, can we talk about sulfates and silicones next week? Sulfates, is that something, can you rock that too? She said, all right. She said, this is how it's going down. A-OK. You remember that when you were kids? A-OK, guys. This is how it's going down. Thank you so much. Oh, we got the Hootie out. Thank you so very much, so much. All the gentlemen, can you talk a little bit, just right before we get finished? I'm glad to see the brothers in the chat.
Yeah.
Because men gets no love on these platforms. No love at all. You guys are just out here. So all the brothers, come on over here. Talk a little bit about men hair care and why this is up. Because they're all thanking you. They all with the hieroglyphs, the health tips and something. I don't read hieroglyphs, but I do know HTP. So they bigging up each other. So talk a little bit about men care right quick, guys. Because men do have hair care issues, okay?
Well, I think that they all stem from the plantation, but I will say that black hair care would not be where it is today if it wasn't for men hairstylists. Some of the greatest hairstylists of all time are black men, starting with Pierre Tresson, which was the only human being that is actually buried under St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City, and he was a barber. In a great
Kofi, we need to get that. Pierre Toussaint.
He's buried he's called Saint Pierre Toussaint. The Vatican has venerated him, and he was a black barber and hairstylist, one of the greatest hairstylists of all time. And he was a barber and a scholar and a gentleman. But I will say that in the spirit of Roger Simon and Mr. Tyler, and I mean, we don't talk about great men in black hair care history, but they are absolutely they have pulled their weight and have caused a whole bunch of millionaire and billionaires in this business. But men's grooming is extremely important, especially for male self-esteem. And I think up until the late 20th, I mean the early 20th century, like let's say 2010, there had not been a robbery in a barbershop because black men's country club, I mean that's where you have the best behavior. So we need our brothers to be involved in the beauty process, because it's not just about looking beautiful, it's about being a gentleman, and it's about being a well-groomed man and a steward in his community. So I'm determined to raise the level of men's grooming with some great technology, and secondly, and to make some more millionaires, because we're going to change the talc industry. We're going to change the aftershave, and we're also going to change some techniques, because African men actually shaved and cut men's hair from the front, not the back. So we're going to bring that kind of nice swag to the forefront.
Help change the narrative, my good people. Brothers, they all in the chat. They like, this lady, she's on fire. Facebook, we appreciate y'all. Facebook was a little slow to come in, but we appreciate you guys so very much. I want you guys to make sure, again, that you prepare to join us next Monday at 6 o'clock. We need you guys to share the information. Share the link. All we can ask y'all to do is to keep sharing, so that we can get this information out to more people. We are deliberately changing the trajectory of Afro hair education. We are changing the trajectory of Afro hair information. There are people out here who are looking for the information just like you all. So we definitely need your support. Can we talk about, we will. She already said yes. So next week, Ms. Foster, this one is going to be dedicated to you as we talk about, it was silicones, and I forgot what the other one was. So silicones and sulfates. So that's going to be very intense. And then also we do have these t-shirts here, right? Help change the narrative. So we got this documentary coming out, and it is called The Narrative. And The Narrative is a documentary that's about exposing the truth about Afro textured hair. And so it's specifically to Afro textured hair, okay? Not just textured, but Afro textured hair. And also, and so you can get these. All you got to do is I'll put the link where you guys can order your t-shirts, which will be right here at the Rebel Society Hair Salon. And of course, all the proceeds are going to be used to help with the production of the actual documentary. But if you really want to be gangster, if you bold, now we're gonna improve our t-shirt printing. Kofi, maybe you can help us out with this one. But for now, actually, one of my customers made this as a gift. Okay, so this one here are actual t-shirts about the double hit.
Love it.
People say about black hair. So we got these. So Kofi, I'm going to need your help with merchandising, what we're trying to do here. If you can partner with Cheryl and I, we could definitely go for the help. And so he said he's going to definitely bring us on his platform, because they got a large platform, Cheryl, that we can definitely do some cost changing. So Ms. Foster, we got you next week, and we appreciate you guys so very much. Cheryl, your book, where can they get your book at? Again, I got it out here.
Amazon, Lulu.com, Beauty and Myth, Why Black Women Can't Keep the Hair They Grow, which is a very intense book. It's not for the faint at heart.
And as you guys can see here, there was a lot that we covered. So again, don't forget to share the content Help us change the narrative. If you're putting out good content about that, please use the hashtag so we can make a position. This is not a movement. This is not a movement. This is a position that we're going to stand firm on, and we appreciate all of you, our support. So we will be back next Monday, live and direct on all these social media platforms. And you know what I said, that I'm always signing out, right? I'm talking about a whole lot of peace, most certainly a whole lot of love. Rest in peace, Mary. I'm going to miss you so much. And then for sure, a whole lot of hair. But check this out. If you ain't got no hair, don't want no hair, can't stand hair, hey, maybe you plan on cutting it off. Maybe you can't even grow no hair. You know what Cheryl and I say? We say don't even worry about it. Because in our world, bald head, patches, you know, you got a little bald spot. We don't care nothing about that. Because bald heads are beautiful too. And so are you. So deuces, and we'll see you guys next Monday at 6 p.m. We're going to be talking about silicones and sulfates, and dedicated to Miss Foster.
Oh yeah.
Deuces.